Hi, this is Carrie Shell from On Point Quilter. In this week's video, I'm going to share with you some new elongated circle designs that I've come up with. And even more importantly, I'm going to share with you the tips that professional digitizers use in connecting everything up. We're going to get started by creating just a very simple elongated circle. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to show my grid, and I'm going to make sure that I've got snap to grid on. And now if you go to the left toolbar, there is the shapes button, which is about 3/4 your way down your toolbar. Click on the little flyout box and go to the ellipse. And then to draw the ellipse, you're just going to left click with your mouse and then just drag it. And if I do that right here, you can see I end up with something that is basically twice as tall as it is wide. And you basically have an elongated circle. So very simple. Now, I wanted to play with this a bit and create a magic circle, so I'm just going to actually sort of share with you my process, and then I'll share with you a few of the problems that I actually had. So first of all, to do a magic circle, it's best to have your designs basically laying horizontally. So I'm going to rotate that. And I'm going to turn the grid off at this point so you can better see what I'm doing here. And I'm going to select the magic circle. And I'm going to create a circle with eight pieces to it. And I want them all to intersect in the center. So I'm just going to try that at 101. And that looks pretty good. I can do OK. Now, I like that, and I think that would look very nice on my quilt. Now, obviously, I want to quilt this as a continuous line. So I started by just saying, rather than connect all the things up, let me just try to select the connect objects. And the first thing that you can see is it connected everything on the outside. Again, not a bad design, but not really the one I was looking for. So to get back to where I was before, I'm just going to use the Control Z key a couple of times, get back to my single circle, and I can really solve part of the problem by selecting the shape, and I'm going to mirror image it. And that's going to put that opening in the center rather than on the outside. So now when I go and do my magic circle and bring it up to 8 and bring that down to 101 and apply it, and I do that OK. Now when I do the connect objects, everything connects in the center. However, now we've got a new problem, and I'm going to zoom in and you're going to be able to see it. In essence, when it connected it up, it sort of created these little loops, and a lot of times that happens when things are close. And again, this, I always like to try it this way, but when I get this, I sort of know it's not going to work. So I'm going to again just Control Z just to get rid of those loops. And what I'm going to do now is actually do some splitting, and I'm going to try to connect things up in the order that I want them. Now, before I do that, I'm going to take my design and I want to center it on the page. So select the center item so everything is centered. Because this is 8, if I actually have 8 items and I split all of them, I've got a little bit of a mess going on and it's harder to keep track of. So I'm going to actually, for now, go ahead and delete every other item in here. And we will add that back later, but I don't really need that. Now, if I had, let's say, a shape with 7 or with 5 that I wanted, what I would actually do is I would hide the items rather than delete them. But for the purposes of a series of 8, deleting will actually work, and you'll see in a minute why that's the case. Now, what I want to do is I have Snap to Grid still on, which is okay, and I've got my center point, which is that. So I'm going to select each of these shapes, and I'm going to split the line. And what I find is that sometimes, I'm not sure if it's the symmetrical shapes, they don't exactly split. So just keep trying until they do. Some will split right away, some won't. And I'm moving everything away from the center. Now notice that the only thing I'm doing is moving nodes. I'm not playing with anything else at this point, because if I did, I'm going to have a problem. I don't want to move the handles at all. I just want to split the lines. Okay, so I've got everything basically split. And now when I connect, in essence, if I think about this circle, if I go this way, I'm going to want to take this last point here and connect it up with the right side here. So again, I'm going to select this item with my reshape. Now I'm going to use the T key on my computer to connect that up. Again, it's not in the right position. I'm not worried about that right now. I just want to get things connected in the right order. So for now, the new shape, I want to connect it to this point here. So again, I keep my continuous path going. And for this one, I want to go to the left side. So now I've got everything going in the order that I want it. Now I want to show the grid again, and I'm just going to take all of these center points and I'm going to just drag them close to that center grid, and they're all going to snap up. And notice, because I didn't play with the handles, everything is still perfectly symmetrical. Now here's my trick for dealing with a group of 8. So if I select this and I do a Control C and a Control V, that will give me an exact copy right on top of the other one. I'm going to just take that new copy, and you can see that it's the second one in the artwork, and I'm going to click on the rotate 45 degrees. Again, everything is perfectly lined up. I'm going to select my reshape key. I'm going to select the center node and the T key, and I'm going to just wiggle it a bit, and it will connect the two objects. Now, if I take my shape and I apply stitches, let's just take a quick look at the stitch out. And you can see that it is intersecting and doing lines that are perfectly symmetrical. So I like that, and I would save that at this point. Thanks so much for watching. This is really the first of 2 videos, and the second will discuss the double elongated circles, and I will share some additional tips during that video. If you would like to receive additional tips and videos, please sign up for my weekly newsletter at www.onpointquilter.com.